I'm excited to be here with Jo Bendle to talk about what she's been doing in the last 2 months and what she sees ahead of her. Jo, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to see where this conversation goes.
We have no idea. It could go anywhere.
Brilliant.
Yeah. But it's such a pleasure to connect with you again. And actually, I'm excited to hear what you've been up to. So tell me, what's been going on with your life and business since, should we say, shit hit the fan?
Yeah, let's say that. Yeah. It's quite funny because for me, I feel like it has been a really, really good thing. Like, obviously, I feel like there's so many parts of the things that I shouldn't say out loud because I know that people are suffering. But for me, it gave me a really good opportunity to like step into probably my next level. Like, I kind of really stepped up into this leadership role, which other people had seen me in, but I was not owning at all, So there was two things that happened. I think as soon as we went into lockdown, which was pretty full on in Spain, it was very strict here. Two things happened. One, I spent about 5 days just kind of retracted, watched how other people were showing up and was like, how do I want to lead my community through this? And what do I want my message to be? Because I am really an activator. So it's not easy for me to be like, yeah, I know. It's, to really just, how do I want to show up? And I decided that I had this, like, even now it makes me tingle. It's when I think about my mission is going to be like up leveled. So normally it's like, I want more women living their version of a big life. But this was just like, all of my clients are going to come out of this stronger than when they went in. And it just helped me show up so differently. And the other side of that is I realized, because for the first couple of weeks of the pandemic, I was exhausted. And so I realized if I want to be able to really show up and support and help my people, I've got to sort myself out. And so I went into this like fitness challenge. I started on the 1st of April and went, right, I'm going to move my body every day. And I just really got really clear about my new sort of healthy habits and had this mission for the business. And these were the two things. And that was it. I just focused on that. And I went all out, inspired by you, really, like just absolutely showing up live everywhere, giving lots of training for what they needed. I did this like full on 4-day live coaching experience and was made sure, like, really giving people permission to still step up and have those dreams. And yes, it can look different. And yes, it can feel, slower. Like I was definitely a lot slower and not less productive. But really showing up for those and then giving myself permission to just be like, can't do it all, kind of like knowing where I could push myself and where I had to then be like, okay, that's this is where I can put my energy. So it's been really quite an interesting sort of shift for me. Yeah.
And I can actually see you're kind of glowing. So I think that the fitness thing is definitely working.
Yeah, it's so funny, isn't it? It's just I'm so good at getting myself in self-doubt. I will always still show up. It doesn't stop me. But there obviously is this layer of that I just pushed to the side and was like, there are some people that really need to hear what I'm going to say, and I'm going to take them. I'm going to activate them and really, elevate them. And it was kind of fun as well. I had so many people reaching out to me. I did a launch of my signature program, and with people that went in that and didn't go in that were like messaging and being like, you've literally shifted me, and I've never been so, motivated and on fire. And so it was working,
Yeah,
it was really working. And it's only now that I've started feeling a little bit more like, okay, is it okay to still be like the activator? Because there are so many people that are feeling, in a different place. And I just think this is probably something that we can all talk about is, but it's okay, because this is what my role is. And those that aren't ready for that, or those that aren't actually they just need to rest and aren't ready for that message, there's plenty of other people that will be able to support them. But that has been a bit of a battle for me. It's like, is it okay for me to just come out and be like, things are working. I earned more money. I lost weight. I was just like, yeah, this is working. Is it okay that I say that? And it's like, yeah, people need to be inspired still.
Yeah. We could keep we can do our part to keep the economy going. And it's not helpful if we start to kind of retreat and stop doing our thing and using our zone of genius. But talk about how you actually have had this mission, what you're doing now is something you've been wanting to do for a long time. And why did you need a pandemic to step into your leadership role? Like, what's that?
Yeah, that is a very good question. I think it has been a mix of things, and it's just the acceptance of this is my journey, that it looks like I'm gonna show up in the place that feels a little bit stretchy but not too stretchy, get comfortable there, and then know that there's more, but have the resistance. And it's almost really frustrating to watch myself in it, but I also know that's my process, and then I will move through it, and then I'll obviously I'm somebody that really invests in myself. And then last year, being in the mastermind with you, I literally said at the start of the year, I trust that I get what I need from this. So it wasn't like I was specifically like I knew how to run a business, I trust I'll get what I need. And I pushed back on you for like 6 months when you were like pushing me in the way of like getting outside the comfort zone. I'm like, no. And then eventually I was like, there is some, Jo, you've got to listen to this. What is going on? What? And I really can remember sitting, journaling. Is this me playing small? Is this me playing small? And then the process of going through really changing my business model and having like so much doubt around whether it was the right thing, but then being able to step up and say, I can help you with so much more than productivity. That like, I'm going to so activate you, but it is more than just these tools, which I'd kind of allowed as, like my safety net, So it's just, I think this is my way of like constantly, if I look back on all of the years, it's like just this cycle that I have to go through, which is really painful at times.
Yeah.
And also you come out the other side, like I said, I feel like something has actually shifted in me. I can't believe it took the pandemic, but something really shifted in me. And it feels really nice to be just being able to own. I want to talk about living big and having big dreams. And yes, we need productivity to do it, but that is only one part of it, which is, obviously what we talked about. And I'm like, yeah, it's the process. I think it's important to share that it doesn't necessarily, we all seen that diagram of like, people think it looks like this, but actually it's a squiggly mess. And it's just like, yes, guys, it's okay that it can be messy to get there. And then we come out of the messy bit and we feel like, oh my gosh, I'm where I'm meant to be. And then it gets messy again. And this is the process. And it's probably always going to be the process,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you are going to be more prepared next time. You're going to notice like, oh, I'm doing it again.
Yeah, I think that's true because it takes me a while to see what's going on, but now I'm so much more aware and I can watch it. And even just last week, this happened to me. I was like, what's going on? I really noticed that I'd gone into way more resistance. I'm really clear what I'm working on. My business feels exciting and I can see what needs to happen to scale. It's getting results. I started to be healthy and start losing weight. And then I was like, oh, I think I might be like entering the upper limit zone. And so I was just like, okay, cool. And then that was just like, half an hour of just being aware of it and being like, well, I'm in that next level now, so keep moving. So yeah, it is just about having that self-awareness, always the self-awareness, and then having the choice. Like, how long do I want to stay stuck? Yeah. Yeah.
So for anyone watching us, maybe you share a bit, you said before you identified as a productivity coach. Now, if someone would ask you, let's imagine we have a networking party and you come there and someone asks you, so Jo, what do you do?
Well, actually, I'm a productivity and empowerment coach. So I still use this because we got to give people what they think they need. So I realized that because the thing that gets me excited is like this whole live big process of like, look, guys, it's going to look different for everybody, but what inspires and excites me is living big. And that's, different for everyone. For me, it was to travel. Some people want to work school hours. But I need to kind of educate people to get to that place. And so then I realized it is about empowering people. And somebody said to me a couple of months ago, you're an activator. And I literally was like, oh, that makes so much sense because I really do I'm not excited about teaching productivity. I literally now have it, you'll be pleased to know, in a self-study course. It's like, here's the tools, you're going to need them, but ultimately this is where I'm going to help you.
Yes.
And and so I feel like, and it's more about like helping them to be more, do more, have more, and identify with what more is and what they actually want, and that identity shift, and then being able to give them the tools to be able to get there. So it's it's been really interesting. And this is why I love talking to people and saying, guys, it's all right if you just don't spend too much time working out who you are and what you do, because in 6 months' time it'll probably be quite different, depending on where they are in their journey.
Yeah. But you felt, and I think this is important message for people watching this, that you felt at some point that talking about living big and basically calling yourself empowerment coach, which I'm glad to hear.
Progress.
Progress. That you felt, let's say, if we look back, maybe a year back, that you felt this was not enough. Like, you can't, people wouldn't buy that, or, how can I build a business on that? So I think if there's someone watching thinking the same way, I think you can say a few words about that.
Yeah, definitely. I specifically can remember standing in the hot seat of the mastermind and saying, I can't sell that. It's like selling air.
Yeah. Like selling air.
Oh, dear me. And all these amazing business owners are like looking at me as if to say, what are you on about? I'd rather buy living big than productivity. And it's like, what? It was so interesting, which is why we need to keep putting ourselves in an environment that stretches us, because we do sit in even though I would say that I do step out of the comfort zone a lot, I still do, I still was playing it pretty safe, right? And I think that was what the biggest thing came for me, is like, no, I don't want, this doesn't feel good, and like taking a bigger leap. So to answer the sort of question about other people and how that might feel if they feel like they're selling something that people don't buy or isn't tangible, it is just to remember that if you're passionate about something, the right people are going to really resonate with that message. So when I did this free coaching experience in April, and it was about level up, right? But I talked about living big, and I talked about live big as my, like the mission for me. And people get on that because I'm passionate about it. Yeah. And I can't, I'm not going to bring that energy to a productivity tool, but I will definitely say, look, you need these tools. This is how we're going to make it happen. But that is pointless without having that fire inside of you. So I guess it's just about trusting that what makes you excited is what people really need to hear, and not doubting it. Yeah. I feel, that was a hard one. That was a hard one. It definitely took me a few years to be able to own living big as part of my business,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you can. So a pandemic came and saved you.
Yes. Unbelievably, a pandemic allowed me to step into what everyone has been like pushing me towards, and I'd been like, that's not me. And I stepped into it, and I was really intentional about what I wanted to show up for. I had to go through all the stories of, what I'm having to say no to, and I didn't go to all the, I went to a couple of virtual wine drinking nights, and then I was like, actually, do you know what? Right now, this is where I want to put my energy. And it worked, something I always talk about is like, let's always celebrate our efforts, not necessarily our results. And so for me, that was like, if I can show up and be proud of the effort, like I showed up there fully live, I've showed up here for my own health, then I'm happy because the results will come. And I think that's a really big one, that we all beat ourselves up about, oh, it's not good enough. It's like, but are you proud of how you showed up? Because if you are, you keep going on that, then things are going to change.
Yeah.
Well,
people have two choices also. You said you could have done every evening a virtual drink, or you could say, well, actually, I'm going to come out of this pandemic thing, fit and healthy.
Yeah, it's been really, really interesting. Again, being intentional, only choosing two big things to focus on. having to be okay with not being able to do everything, even in the business, like knowing that if I go it all in on one, my energy might be less for some whatever reason, but focusing on that, giving it my all, being proud of how I show up, because it was all about, I think people right now need human to human connection, don't they? And that's the thing. It's like me giving them permission to say, what are you no longer available for? And it's okay to still want more whilst we're navigating this. And I feel like quite excited for a lot of the business owners, like some of my clients who had like offline businesses and then have then had to tweak. And it's just like, this is so exciting. Your business is going to look so different. And I think the other thing that I would say has come out of it, a big thing for me, is letting go of control. Like I try to control my business so much. And their business is like, get off, please give me some space to grow. And I'm like, oh, and so now trusting a little bit more and letting it find its feet. It's like with my latest program, is not controlling it so much and being like, give it the year, launch it many times, run it many times, give it the year to see see what it wants to be. And that was a big lesson again. And all my clients as well is like, let's not try and control this too much and let's just give it some space. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that a lot. So you had a membership and you closed it down. So you didn't need a pandemic for that though?
No, I didn't. I just needed Sigrun. I had a successful membership for 3 years, like that was basically how I paid all my bills. It worked. It did not fulfill me. I didn't have a great energy about because for many reasons, and it was me allowing myself to stay in this box. And then, like the nudge from everybody of like, this is paying small, this is paying small. I'm like, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. This is my lead generation. And then realizing that actually the thing that excites me is getting in beside less business owners and making an actual difference. And that's what's happened now. Like this program now is where I am, like beside them, able to really make a difference. And that's because this is this is about me loving the process of growing and scaling my business and not being like, this is frustrating. I'm not working with the right people or the people that are actually going to step up and say, my dreams matter. So it has been really about, well, it was a growth. It was for me a step for me to grow, to be able to like close that down, close something that works, because that was the only way that I could really step into the next level.
Yeah.
And that was a really hard process, but I can still find an argument for it being, I should have the membership, especially when we went into the pandemic. I was like, we had a membership now. And so I went, I'm still going to launch my signature program. And I did, and it sold out and everyone's like getting great results in it. And I feel energized by delivering it.
Yeah.
And so, it was about a growth lesson for me that was uncomfortable. And as we know, that usually means it's the thing we're meant to do. So when you go into a mastermind or anything and you say, I trust I'll get what I need, just be careful what you're asking for. Yeah, it was an interesting one. Yeah.
So you launched in the middle of a pandemic. That worked out brilliantly for you.
Yeah.
And it happened after you had been showing up, right? You had done your 4-day event first.
Yeah. It was the end of April that I did the launch. So I sort of had a month of like stepping into a different energy for myself and showing up, doing lots of live trainings, then doing the coaching experience, and then launching and inviting people to come. And it was an amazing. As I said, I wrote this post about earning more revenue, earning pounds in more pounds, losing pounds in weight, and was like, the pandemic's going all right because I was intentional.
Yeah.
And allowing people to choose that, it's okay to still have your dreams. Also, we can't do it all right now. It's okay if we're slower, less productive. You can still really step up, and you just do it with whatever works. Like I've been really, really good at resting a lot, which is something I'm not great at. And knowing that if I wanted to show up fully there, I have to pull back as well. So yeah, and even now being able to be like, right, we just did the June monthly planning in my group program, and I'm saying, guys, if you pick one juicy thing, you're going to achieve it. If you pick 5, nothing's going to really get done. And so because that's what's working right now. It's like being aware of maybe having slightly less energy. Yeah.
So what's next? What's next for you, and what do you think will happen next? What is the new normal look like?
Yeah, I feel like that obviously there's going to be loads more. There is a lot of online noise right now, and that's interesting. But I think that it's for us that people that are very authentically in their, you know, on the right path, that it's going to be easier for us to grow, and then the people that maybe aren't quite as aligned will kind of drop off, and that will be a good thing. I think that the businesses are going to grow stronger. The right businesses are going to grow stronger, and then maybe the wrong ones aren't. So there will be a shake-up. And for me, it's just keeping it really simple, like these simple steps. One, following my own process, my own sort of principles. Simple, keeping the business like really clear, and staying in that, like rinse and repeat. Like I actually feel like for me, the next step is to really systemize, maybe like a 90-day plan, a 90-day launching system, like every 3 months. I know, like systemize the business again, because it's a different business model. And what was I thinking? How I think that's the thing that's come out of it for me is like, the systems. Like when we can rely on our systems, when we can rely on our habits, when we can rely on a routine, even if I change it every week, that's what's allowed me to still keep showing up. And so one of my all-time favorite quotes is like, people don't decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. And it's like, this is mind-blowing, guys, because like our habits will determine what happens next. And are our current habits okay? And most people are going to be like, don't ask. So it's really just like simple things done well on repeat, and staying, like trusting ourselves of like, we know what we're doing, and it's okay. Like I think like you talk about is like, show up, take action, like be fast, and like this is how we this is how we learn what people need. And
I love that you say with the habits. I think that's really, the pandemic has been and still is a wonderful opportunity to get good habits instead of bad ones, get rid of bad ones. I've been actually going on a daily walk with my husband. Actually, right now, today I didn't have time, but I did my virtual fitness training for 30 minutes. He has started to walk 10,000 steps every day.
Wow, this is amazing. Do you know what? It's so interesting because this habits thing has really got me. I mean, I've always talked about it, but so 1st of April, I said, right, I'm committing to moving my body every day for 30 days. So the whole of April. But we were in lockdown. So, it wasn't like we weren't even allowed out for exercise. So it was just, this is what I'm going to do. And when I got to the end of April, I was like, okay, by now we're allowed out. So I just decided to keep going. And I am literally challenging myself. I've got a habit tracker, 100 days of moving my body every day. And I'm on day 56. Just like, how even am I?
A new person. So you go for a walk, or what's your
so I've been doing couch to 5K to get back into running, and then I've also doing like an exercise class every day, which is like this body coach thing. It's just like 20 minutes every day. Sometimes it's yoga, but ultimately it's not like a big commitment. Every morning I get up, I'll do half an hour, or I'll go and do the couch to 5K thing, and then I'll start my day. And now, because I've got so far, I'm like, well, I've obviously got to get to 100 now. And but I talked about it out loud so that I will do it, because external accountability does work. So that's so it is. I think it has also allowed us all to like look at our habits, and be intentional about what matters, what's important, where do we want to show up. And I'm really, really excited about my business. Feels like it's also like sighing, like a breathing a sigh of relief around, hooray, like we're ready. It feels like it's just so ready now to just like have fun growing and scaling it, looking after myself, like just prioritizing what's important. Yeah.
And that makes a perfect ending to a great talk, I think. I think the thing about the habits is really key here. And I've seen a lot of people develop some great habits. And I hope that will be the majority of people. Jo, it's been a pleasure to reconnect and talk again.
So exciting.
I wish you all the best for your business and life. You're looking great. So obviously that movement every day, it's visible. It's visible.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been really nice to connect.
Yeah. Thank you.